A new Missouri law says no cell phones at all for Missouri students. I talked to a principal who says he's going to have one challenge. I'll have his response coming up.
Plus, Joplin first responders battle for bragging rights and blood donors. And a classic comedy production gets ready to hit the stage at the Pittsburgh Community Theater.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Missouri students can expect some changes this year. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Anthony Saviello. A new law will limit when students' cell phone usage is allowed. Students K through 12 will no longer be allowed to use cell phones from the first bell to the last bell. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, not much will change for Joplin High School, but for one exception.
We got her a cell phone maybe 6th grade because she started traveling with sports. So
Nick Reed is a busy father of 4 in the Joplin School District. All his kids are into sports, so one way to keep up with them is through a cell phone. But Reed will admit keeping them off the cell phone is important also.
we try to get outside. We try to do as much stuff together as possible, get that social interaction between each other, and we make it a point to put the technology away.
Putting the technology away is what Reed and all the parents in Missouri will be doing this fall during school hours because of the new cell phone law, meaning no cell phone usage during school hours. And according to Joplin High School Principal Randy Oliver, students were already following it for the most part.
The premise behind it is awesome, but since we were already doing it, it's not really going to gain much instructional time for us.
Oliver says most students do follow the rules for the most part. However, he says the new law is a lot stricter than he thought.
The part that they added on is the no cell phones in the lunchroom and no cell phones in the hallway.
So how does Oliver feel about this?
So whether I agree or disagree, it doesn't really matter. We're still going to follow because it's state law.
And there may be some good things out of this law.
I like it from the standpoint it's going to force kids to interact at lunch. It's going to force them to talk to each other, maybe in the hallways.
I think it's a work in progress, just like anything. When something's one way for so long and then something changes, obviously there's a little bit of a learning curve.
And the principal says it's going to take a little time to get used to, but they're definitely going to do their best. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The ban does allow cell phone usage during an emergency like natural disasters or an active shooter situation. Well, it's still hot outside. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us.
It is. It's going to stay on the hot side as we go through the weekend into early next week. Of course, it is summer heat, humidity sticking around as we go through the next couple days. We're looking at temperatures mainly in the mid 90s, but that heat index kind of that 100 to 105 range. So there are going to be a couple random little storms out there. You can see a few popping up southeastern Kansas, mainly northwest of our region, but clipping our northwestern counties. So if you live from Eureka, Yates Center, Fredonia, Iola, Chanute, you may get some hit and miss storms as we go through the next few hours. Let's go through time. Most of us dry. Some storms kind of skirting those northwestern counties. Everybody else looks fine. We heat up mid 90s again on your Saturday afternoon, and 1 or 2 random storms popping up during the afternoon. We're going to be talking more about that here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thanks. Well, flood sirens rang out in the town of Lake Annette, Missouri this morning. The sirens warn people of rising water and the risk of flooding and haven't been used there in years. Flooding was reported in several areas as people tried to get in and out of the small town, and it was apparently more water than the snakes are used to. One resident says first responders woke her family up and told them to evacuate. Local county emergency management officials said they don't expect flooding to rise to the historic levels they saw back in 2017 when Lake Annette dealt with 3 major floods. Joplin first responders waged a friendly competition today, but one that drew blood. The annual Boots, Badges, and Bandages blood drive drew a crowd to the Joplin Public Service Community Center. The event, hosted by the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks, collects much-needed blood. Part of the fun was allowing donors to choose either to vote for police, fire, or EMS to determine who won.
We are so thankful. We are so blessed. The donor base here, we understand. We want to help each other. We know what needs to be done, and people respond. In the summertime, we're challenged because everyone's on vacation, they're traveling more, so the need is a challenge to keep the blood supply strong, I should say.
The Community Blood Center of the Ozarks has served the area for more than 30 years. Well, if you're looking for more events like this right here in the 4 states, whether it's fun family events or community events like a blood drive, but don't know where to turn, we've got you covered. This handy QR code will take you straight to the events page of our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just scan it with your phone and you'll find information on all kinds of family fun events, including plenty of information on upcoming and ongoing county fairs. The events page at KOAMnewsnow.com. And here's a perfect example of a family fun event, the annual Route 66 Heritage Fest in Miami, Oklahoma. This is a live look from the festivities. The 2-day festival is held every year during the last weekend of July and features truck, car, and motorcycle shows, plenty of food trucks, a raffle, and lots of live music. Opening ceremonies took place just a few minutes ago, but the fun rolls on until Saturday night. And Pittsburgh Community Theater is ready to light up the stage at Memorial Auditorium with the musical performance of The Producers, written by comedy legend Mel Brooks. The cast and crew have been working on the show for the past 2 months leading up to this weekend's performances. The first performance kicks off tonight at 7 p.m. The Producers tells the story of 2 men who work together to create a flop Broadway show and scheme people out of millions of dollars. But instead, the show becomes a hit and chaos ensues.
Several that are first timers on this stage, on any stage, and I have heard from some of them that even though so many of us know each other well because we do shows all the time, they've made it nice and welcoming for people who haven't done theater before, which is nice because it's not always like that in other places, but it's like that here, and I love that.
If you plan to attend this weekend, you can buy your tickets online or at the door. We'll have more on this story tonight on KOAM News at 10. Webb City looks to go deep in this year's Little League World Series tournament. Ben McLeish has more on their quest coming up in sports, including the team from Southeast Kansas who could stand in their way. But up first, a celebration of the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act took place in Parsons, Kansas today.
And Fox 14.
A celebration taking place in Parsons, Kansas today to commemorate the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. KOAM's Mitch Adams attended and brings us more.
Living with disabilities shouldn't hold anyone back. That's the idea behind the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was signed 35 years ago. The ADA assures that disabled Americans have all of the same opportunities as able-bodied people. Skill provides services like transportation and equipment for community members with disabilities.
The core services that we provide is advocacy, independent skills training, peer support, information and referral, deinstitutionalization. And so those are the core services, but certainly not the only things that we do. We provide in-home care for people, and we have those services so they're self-directed.
The celebration empowers people with disabilities and gives them the motivation to work and integrate.
I hope that they come in and they see that all the barriers that life gives us are always overcomable. And I think that people with disabilities come in and they see other people with disabilities who are employed, who are working, who are, doing different things, who are successful, that they'll then feel like they can remove the barriers that are keeping them from those things. I hope that the community comes in and sees people with significant disabilities who are living independently, and so it helps change their attitude and their, just that barrier that's within our minds thinking that people are vulnerable and they can't. Well, that's not the fact. The fact is that we all have vulnerabilities, but we all can if we choose.
In Parsons, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Celebration also featured a raffle for a 50-inch television and, not to mention, plenty of food. A little later, the Outlaws look to continue their hot streak against the Sherman Shadowcats. Ben has a preview coming up in sports.
Plus the heat and the humidity sticking around. We're going to look at that coming up.
And Spiva Center for the Arts.
Well, it definitely turned out to be hot and humid once again for us today. Temperatures up there mid-90s. We had some thunderstorms yesterday evening kind of skirting our northwestern counties. We're going to see the exact same thing once again tonight. You can see these kind of blossoming right along that I-35 corridor from Wichita and Emporia up toward Kansas City. But they are clipping our northwestern counties. If we zoom in, here's Chanute, Yates Center. So these guys are kind of lifting northeast. A lot of heavy rain up toward Kansas City over the past 36, 48 hours. But again, these aren't really working in, but there are a couple little stronger guys. You can see one blowing up near Yates Center, just north of Biola, and then kind of stretching back toward Eureka. I don't really think we're going to see many develop south of Fredonia or Chanute up toward Mound City. Everybody else will end up staying on the dry side. Let me walk you through the weekend. Look pretty good. Any thunderstorms still northwestern counties as we go through the next few hours. Then we're fine tonight. We drop back mid-70s, so warm, humid start once again by the noon hour into the upper 80s to near 90. And then once again tomorrow afternoon, hit or miss random pop-up storms. Most of you will stay dry, but there are going to be a few out there. Let's go into tomorrow night, Sunday morning, dropping back again, mid-70s. Then Sunday afternoon, we heat up again, 94, 95, 96, and there may be one or two random little pop-up storms Sunday afternoon. Overall, the weekend looks hot, humid, and mainly dry. Let's break it down. 95 Saturday, 94 on Sunday. Heat index is going to be up there, 100 upwards to about 105 during the afternoon. Looks pretty good right now. Great shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort through the evening. Slide back through the 80s, eventually into the 70s, but our humidity is up there. These are our dew points. We measure this in a degree fashion, and what this means for you is when you see them in the 70s, it doesn't feel good outside. It's muggy, it's soupy, it's about as humid as it can get without it raining, of course. So our heat index is going to be up there, 100, 103, 104. As we go through Saturday afternoon, we're going to do it again on Sunday, 100, 103, 104 across the region. Here's the reason why. See that guy? Big dome of high pressure, our heat dome, really builds in this weekend into early next week. It keeps all the thunderstorms rotating around us. There is a little bit of a change late next week, and then as we head toward next weekend, which is the beginning of August, it shifts west, allowing these waves to rotate in, meaning our temperatures, we may get a front or two in here, and if we do, we'll also get some rain. So instead of mid-90s, we may be talking about 88 to 90, which wouldn't be too bad. All right, let's go 95 on your Saturday, 94 on Sunday. Slight chance for a few storms. Look at these temps accelerating near 100 by Wednesday. We haven't even made a run. I mean, we've been 96, 97, but we haven't made a run for 100. We haven't hit 99 yet. So those may be our hottest temperatures we've seen so far this summer.
It would be nice just not to make a run for 100 too. If
we do it on average 3 times a summer.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just have to deal with it then. Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, the Joplin Outlaws look to extend their winning streak against the Sherman Shadowcats, plus a local Little League team represents the state of Missouri in the Midwest Region Tournament. Ben McLeish has those stories and more up next in sports.
We're too nice to say no. That's why we said yes to
are only at Roper Honda.
The Little League Baseball regional tournaments begin next week, and the team representing Missouri is a familiar one. The Webb City All-Stars have won the state tournament for the second straight year. Now head coach Alex Hines and his team of the best young baseball players in Webb City prepare to head to Whitestown, Indiana for the Midwest Region Tournament. In the first round, they take on a familiar opponent, Team Kansas, represented by the Pittsburgh All-Stars.
This team has been able to gel so quickly and learn how to play together, learn how to play different positions that they may not have normally played, and it's just been great to see that kind of flexibility and heart to go out and want to compete at the highest level.
It's just so fun to have like all of my friends here, and it's a great time.
The Joplin Outlaws are back at Joe Becker Stadium for a matchup with the Sherman Shadowcats, looking to extend their 6-game winning streak. The Outlaws hold a 5.5-game lead for first place in the Mid-America League, and with only 1 week left in the season, they've all but wrapped up the top seed, but they'll look to stay hot in the final stretch. They're coming off a series with Fort Smith where they outscored the Marshals 53-0. First pitch tonight is at 7:05. In the major leagues, the Royals and Cardinals are at home for a big matchup ahead of the trade deadline. Kansas City is back at Kauffman Stadium for a divisional matchup with the Cleveland Guardians. This is set up to be an electric series as the rivals both sit within 5 games out the last wild card spot. The Guardians are hot as of late. They've won 11 of their last 14. This series is the Royals' final chance to have a winning record heading into the trade deadline. First pitch is at 7:10. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are treading water. They're 2 games above 500 and 2.5 games out of the wild card. But they're coming off a win in the series opener against the Padres. And with the sweep of San Diego, the Redbirds could find themselves with that last NL wildcard spot. This one just started and we're still scoreless in the first. On the PGA Tour, some of the world's best golfers wrap up the second round, the 3M Open. Here's where we stand at the top of the leaderboard right now, although the round's not over just yet. Thorbjorn Olesen finishes his round in the lead with 14 under as he searches for his first career win on tour. But not far behind is Jake Knapp, looking for just his second career win. Right now, the cut is set at 5 under, but that could change as the final golfers finish up the round.
Well, golf's always a fun way to kind of end the weekend. So I'll be going to my own golf tournament here in a few weekends too. So maybe I'll have to like yell at the screen, right, and show those highlights too. Like of me yelling at the.
I'd love to see some Anthony Savio highlights at the PGA Tour.
We'll see if that happens. Sure, it's not going to be me golfing. That's for sure. But Cardinals got some work to do for sure to try and really get into the playoffs.
Yeah, a lot of people think they're going to be sellers. We'll have to see, but this series will be huge.
All right, we'll be right back.
At Food for Less, we're sliding into summer.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We'll have the latest on Department of Justice interviews with Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice. Plus, we'll have more from the Route 66 Heritage Fest in Miami, and Freeman Health System hosts a celebration of a very young group of graduates. Those stories and a lot more tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Well, the Neosho County Kansas Fair has been running all week, and this morning started the day with a swine show. Exhibitors prepped their pigs and presented them in the ring. Participants were being judged on their showmanship. This year's fair theme, Boots and Bling. It's a Mardi Gras thing.
You have to feed them quite a bit so they can make weight, but just walking in them and showing them so they're ready for the fair, and then just bring them over here and make sure they're show ready. Wash them, make them look nice.
The Neosho County Fair runs through Monday, and it's fair weather, kind of, I guess. If it's hot, yeah. I don't know if that's fair weather.
When you think of a fair, you always think summertime and hot.
Sure.
Pigs running around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to stay hot as we go through the weekend. Random storm. Most of you, 90% of you, will stay dry as we go through the weekend. It heats up even a little bit more. Early next week, we approach 100 degrees by Wednesday, and then we cool down with some better rain chances late next week.
All right, and a final sports note for us.
We've got an awesome matchup coming up on August 1st. Team Kansas, represented by Pittsburgh, against Team Missouri, represented by Webb City. It's going to be an awesome matchup of the Little League teams to decide who can move on in the Midwest region.
All right, we'll see who can do it. That's our time for now. We're right back here at 9 and 10. From all of us here, have a great evening.